way. I keep saying that a lot. Hello, YouTube. This is your boy, Franklin Janelle. Thank you for being with me in this episode. I'll try to be as brief as I can. And notice the word try because there's just so much to talk about. Now, let me just talk about this topic really quick because it is a misconception amongst many independent filmmakers. And I was guilty of this. And it's about gear acquisition syndrome, aka GAS, where filmmakers, people who do their own projects or work on others, they believe that if they get this camera or that lens, it's going to make them a better filmmaker, a better director, a better storyteller, a better cinematographer. And that's just not true. Now, let me back up real quick to just clarify what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that having great gear isn't necessary. You should have gear that works for you, that helps you get the job done, that gives professional result, that helps you be efficient, and so forth. But the thing is, you don't need, once you have your equipment, you don't need the latest camera, the latest lens. You don't need that. And I know this is very tempting because the market is coming out with gear basically every single year. Me personally, I love gear. Okay, I love gear. It's fun to have gear. That's why I'm telling you, be careful with gear acquisition syndrome, because then you don't want to be feeling, why did I just waste my money on this? I'm still having the same struggles, the same issues, etc., etc. I love gear. At the moment, I own 2 cameras, just 2, and I own 5 lenses. That's just on the camera side, apart from the rig that I have to rig things up, and the tripods and the shoulder rig and the V-mount batteries, all the other stuff apart from that. But I also own other equipment. I own professional microphones, Sheps microphones, DPA microphones. I own a lot of outboard gear, compressors, EQs from API, Neve, Tegler, SPL, and so forth, because I also compose music. I also produce music. So I know what it's like to have gear. It's fun. But you have to come to a point where you focus more on actually getting work done. You want to be out there producing good work, producing good content. If you're a filmmaker, if you did a short film or 2 short films or 1 feature last year, you want to do more this year. You want to continue that, and you don't need the latest gear for that. I personally have come to a point where I'm no longer interested in what comes out. I have everything I've always wanted. I have everything I need to make a movie. And more important, I know my equipment. I know the limitations. I know how far I can push a certain camera. I know the strengths and weaknesses of the lenses that I own. Gee, who was so my phone is ringing. Well, not ringing. There's a notification. I'll get back to them. What I'm saying is, I know my equipment. And once you know your equipment, that's the most important thing. And at this point in my life, I just want to focus on working, on actually working on films. Skills is always more important than gear. Remember that. Skills will always outperform gear. That doesn't mean you don't need professional gear and great gear to get things done. I'm not disregarding gear, but let's say somebody like Roger Deakins, you give somebody like Roger Deakins a cell phone, an iPhone, and they'll make a good scene with a cell phone. But if you give someone who doesn't know the fundamental or the basics of cinematography, I'll even put it even more simple. You give somebody who doesn't even know what the rule of thirds is an Arri Alexa or Arri Alexa Mini or a Red Monstro, you give them that camera and you give them some Zeiss prime lens or some Cooke lens, whatever. Do you think they're going to give a great scene? They're going to film a great scene, let alone a great film, when they don't even know the rule of thirds? So you see what I mean? And you have, so, you know, be careful with gear acquisition syndrome, because it's very tempting that as soon as you get on YouTube, and especially when you see a lot of channels about making films or whatsoever, they're going to speak about some gear in particular. And then you seeing them use that gear in their video, you are going to feel tempted to get that gear. Even though you weren't thinking about that gear before you saw that, and so forth. What I'm getting at is you need to be past the gear stuff. If you already own a camera, 2 camera, 3 cameras, some people own 3 or 4 cameras, so like that's crazy. And to each their own, you don't got to listen to me. 7 or 8 lenses. Dude, you don't need another camera. You don't need another lens. You need to put that camera and those lenses to work. That's what you need to do. Some of you need to find clients. Some of you need to produce. Start your own first short. If you're going to call yourself a filmmaker, at least have something to show for it. Even if it's a 10-minute short or a 15 or a 50 or 70-minute feature, you have to have something to show forth. So don't think for a moment that having better or having more gear is just going to all of a sudden make you a better storyteller, a better director, a better cinematographer. It's not going to work like that. You have to work on your skills. And working on your skills, that could mean trial and error. That means you go out, you film something. If it's bad, if it's not good, you figure out what you didn't do good, you correct that, and you keep moving forward. To others, since we all learn different, some are visual learners, others learn by just reading, pick up a book on directing, pick up a book on cinematography, read, study. That's why a lot of indie films don't look like a movie, because most of the people involved in it don't study. If it wasn't for the cinematography books that I've read, my films probably won't look the way they look. And I'm not the best, and I'm not seeking to be the best. I'm not claiming to be the best, but I owe a lot to the authors and the books that I've read on cinematography, because they really taught me this is what you should be looking for. These are the rules. These are the moments when you can break the rules, etc., etc. It gave me more confidence when I went out into the field. Again, please don't misunderstand me. If somebody is commenting, because some people comment before they actually watch the whole video, I'm not saying don't get gear. I'm just saying it's not going to make you a better filmmaker. That's all I'm saying. I love gear. I will continue getting more gear. But that's a luxury at this point. It's not a necessity. Yes, having professional gear inspires you to work. I get that. But let me ask you something. You mean to tell me that I'm not inspired right now, so I'm going to go get this $20,000 camera, and then you get the camera, it's brand new, you feel inspired and so forth. Well, what happens when a few months go by and that quote-unquote inspiration you were feeling is no longer there? Are you going to go sell that camera and then buy another camera? And then you see what kind of a cycle that creates? I don't think that's the position you want to be in. So work on your skills. If you're an actor, work on your acting. Work on your crafting. When I started acting in 2006, long time ago, in New Jersey, I was living in New Brunswick at the time, a stage director by the name of Kevin Kittles, if I'm not mistaken, was a long time ago. He told us, we were in a group, he told us in the class, always do your ABC. Always be crafting. And I never forgot that. Never. And that just doesn't apply to acting. That applies to everything. But if you're an actor, are you working on your craft? Are you studying acting? Are you studying books about acting? Are you studying actors, stage actors or film actors? If you're a cinematographer, the same thing. Are you studying cinematography? Are you going out, trial and error, testing? Are you a director? Do you want to be a director? Are you working with people? How do you communicate? What is your vision? Do your work. Improve your skills, and you will see that you will get better, and you will look at gear as what they really are, which are simply tools. This camera I'm filming in right now, this lens, this microphone, these are just tools to communicate this. Maybe you might need to work on your public speaking skills. Can you speak in public? By the grace of God, I don't have that problem. I can speak in public. I can speak to you. Skills, skills, skills. It's the skills that get you places. It's not the gear. Especially in 2025, where basically everybody has access to cameras, equipment, etc. It's your skills that's going to set you apart from everybody else. And I'll just say this one last thing before I close. It's ironic, isn't it, that today we have more equipment, there are more tools available to the independent filmmaker, and you would assume that because these things are so, that the quality will improve. And it's just the opposite. It's just the opposite. It's like the quality of work has decreased because everybody has access to these things. It's the same thing with smartphones. You would assume a smartphone that has all those things will make people smarter, and people are actually the opposite today. People are more stupid than they were before this whole smartphone and social media revolution. People actually knew their phone number by memory, their friends, their parents. They knew people's number by memories. People used to use their minds back in the days. But I'm getting off track right now. I'm just trying to prove a point. Please bear me some patience. Savlanutli. That's Hebrew for patience with me. But yeah, you know, skills. That's the word of the day. Work on your skills and get out there. Because when you work on your skills, you get more confident. And when you are confident, you take more risk And when you take more risk, you get rewarded. Amen. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that like button and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. And stay tuned for more videos. And speaking about gear, yes, I will make videos in the future of what's in my bag, what I use to do sound and so forth. But I just wanted to get this clear because it is such an important topic to speak about. I wish you the best. May you have a great day or a great night, depending on what part of the world you are watching. Take care.